Hi everybody, my name is json and this is weekly status quo number 42. Each week I'm doing a status quo where I share with you my task and progress, and in this way I would like to make the whole process of starting a software product company transparent. So this week I'll start with a good news. So the previous status quo I explained you that I hit a major problem, and this problem was related to the authentication. My initial design was not going to work because of many reasons that I explained the previous time. So my focus this week was to build a brand new web application that has a new type of authentication. And my initial idea was to rely on the latest and greatest things. So to use .NET Core 2.1 plus Azure AD Endpoint 2.0. And I start developing and learning how to do this. And I go through the whole spectrum of actions in the development, from copying paste code from Stack Overflow that I don't understand, to reading documentation, to testing some code samples, to moment where the code run and I don't know why. But finally, I would say that I was able to do the authentication. And what I was able to make it working is to use MVC, the latest versions 5.2, plus Azure AD 2.0, of course. Yeah, for me this was a required thing, while what I will use as a technology, whether it will be .NET Core or MVC, was on a second place, because this can always change later, but the authentication cannot change, or cannot change easily. So with .NET Core I faced one problem, that I cannot show my site in an iframe because of some new set of security features that .NET Core introduced, and I was not able to turn them off. Maybe I don't know how to do this, maybe it was possible, but anywhere at the end I end up with MVC project, and I did the authentication. So how all this looks from user perspective. So if I now came to my Dynamics CRM, and I'm just going to refresh actually this entity. This is one account entity that I'm displaying. So when the user is logged, he came to this page, he refresh, the data starts to load, and when he scrolls, this was not what he should see. Okay, so yeah, so sorry for maybe, okay, the project is running, but because of something it does not work. So let me do it, Control F5. Let's see whether now it will work. But in general, for user, there will be no differences. What I show you in my previous demos and what I am going to show you now from user perspective is one and the same. So the documents, okay, this is not going to work, strange. I'm not sure why, but here they will see the same document grid as before. So this is actually the grid that I have here. So yeah, as you see, the interface and one at the same. But how all this works? So I'll copy now only the URL of the web app, and I'll open it here. So just to show you how all this works. Ignore, as you see, I have removed the whole CSS because it is not important. I'm going to change it with Fabric UI. But when I click to a page that requires authentication, I'm redirecting to somewhere, to a new page where there is an authenticate button. Here I'll have a good explanation message, and when the user click on this, as you see now, I'm showing a pop-up. Why a pop-up? Because when the user is in the context of Dynamics, this is the only way I can show loginmicrosoft.com dialog in a pop-up. So here the user now will need to authenticate. This will happen only for the first time when the user opens my functionality, and if there is no user consent for this. If there is a user consent, everything will work without any prompts. But as you see, I get the consent, and now the page redirects, and here is the name of the logged in user. So if I go to this is some test page, and when I click documents now, on behalf of the users, I will get authentication token, and then I will open the SharePoint and I'll get all this. Yeah, it may looks very simple, but as I mentioned, I go through the whole spectrum of emotions when I develop. From I'm not sure what it is to the current stage where everything works. I think I understand it, but again, there's some magic in my code. So what I will do this week, I'll continue with the web app and what I show you to make it working better. And yes, I'm going to learn every single piece of code that I have in the authentication. And also I will go with more UI stuff. For example, I will work more on how to send correct data in the initial request. When, for example, if I have one location or 5 locations, how all this will be serialized in JSON. This needs to be passed through URL. I cannot use post or something as yeah, let's not go in technical details, but how to do the initial request and also how to modify the UI so I can support more than one locations. And what I was thinking is, in the way now I have this breadcrumb, instead of root I will have the selected location. If you click here root, I will show, for example, 2 or 3 items depending on the location. So the user will need to pick up one location, enter in it, and then he'll be able to choose from different views. Okay, I have some breakpoints here that are not interested. So as I start explaining, my main task this week will be to work on the web app and mainly on the UI to send correct data and to display it in a good way. This week I don't expect to cover a lot of work because it's Christmas. Maybe I will work only 4 days. I will see. So yeah, I have a plan for the UI stuff, but let's see what I'll be able to achieve. Thank you for watching me and see you next year. Bye for now.